disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now you guys know the drill. Before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way. If you got a couple of shekels you can send our way, you can certainly do so via the super chat. I see we already got one. Let me read it out right now as per the rules. Shout out to Chet Collins, who donated with the super chat. He says, if Mike Tyson retires after the Seldon fight, how high would he be ranked all time? For me, I'd have to say top 5. Yeah, usually if he goes out with an aura of invincibility, he probably gets ranked higher. But anyway, listen, we're going to get to that and more. Shout out to Chet Collins. Thank you for your contribution, man. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to BDA Live, or secondary channel. Check out the Wilder videos that Bucho has done, and check out the film analysis that we've done on Vasil Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, which should be taking place, crossing my fingers here, for the Teofimo Lomachenko fight, which should be taking place in September, I believe. Other than that, thank you guys for joining us. You need to spread the BDA gospel. Subscribe, and spread it all over the place. All right, so this episode, we're going to just taking it easy, talking about... We get the phone number, so we're going to be opening up the phone lines real soon. And I do believe, I'm thinking of maybe, I don't know, just allowing people, putting on a StreamYard and inviting some of the people that we know already, or maybe even some unknown people, I don't know, and just get the party started, see what happens. Full disclosure, Bucho, I am breaking the BDA Boxing Debate Arena rule of no drinking. Got myself a little whiskey over here. Oh, hold on a second. Shout out to Mike P, who just donated the super chat, and he says, that dude last night was crazy as fuck, no offense, but no getting through to some people. I forgot his name. Which I think he's referring to Brotherhood.
I'm pretty sure he is. Listen, I don't mind Brotherhood. As long as we have a civilized debate.
That's right.
It's all fine with me. As long as you start acting like an animal, crazy, yelling, now you're out.
Hey, Bucho, can you check if we're on the notifications? Because Steve Brown's saying he's not getting them.
Oh boy. Let me check.
Meanwhile, so we got Gonzalo on the line. Gonzalo, you there?
Yeah, we're there.
Okay. Gonzalo.
Salud. Revolución.
And Revolución, too. Shout out to
Revolución.
Revolución.
What's going on, guys? Hey, you said the notifications aren't working?
No, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. BDA?
Good to have you guys on board, man. Really appreciate it. And like I said, we're just going to keep it light today. Well, actually, no, we're not going to keep it light. What am I talking about? We're going 100 miles per hour. I am going to be putting a StreamYard link in there. Look, phone number's up. We're going to be putting it up as well. So give us a call. It's better that way. If you're on the Discord, give us a shout out if you want to join the panel. If you're on the Discord. And if not, also, we'll open up the portal. It's been a while since we've done it. Get some people from StreamYard, see what they got to say. Let's start out with this. Let's start out with a little boxing, okay? Which is what we're going to be doing here, obviously. What's it called? Ryan Garcia. A lot of people are talking about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia this, Ryan Garcia that. He's talking about how he wants to face Campbell now. Because apparently there was some sort of a mandatory thing going on. You know, I don't follow the title, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But supposedly there's a possibility that there could be a Luke Campbell fight. Garcia is talking about how he wants that fight. He's not shying away from it. I'm sitting here thinking, all right, is that true or not? Now there's an article out there from Garcia's new trainer Eddie Reynoso, who's saying that his guy could knock Campbell out. Guys, what do you think about that?
Sure, that could happen. He's faster, more powerful. I wouldn't say as strong, but that's a possibility. Although Luke Campbell seems kind of sturdy, right? He's not necessarily Linares in the chin department.
First of all, Bucho, have you created the phone lines yet, or?
No.
Okay, because you're putting the number.
Wait, now, yeah, it's ready.
All right, fellas, phone number is open. Okay, but Gonzalo, you mentioned that the punching power, and that's what somebody else mentioned in one of the articles I was reading. They were saying, well, you know, Argenis Mendes dropped him, Ivan Mendy dropped him in the first fight, Linares dropped him, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's got a bad chin. It could just mean, you know, bad balance or something. Lomachenko dropped him to the body. It's not like he hurt him all that much upstairs. How much of a puncher is Ryan Garcia, though? Who has he knocked out?
He's got a lot of first-round knockouts. A lot of first-round and second-round knockouts. He couldn't take out a guy in Morales, but that guy had never been knocked out before until he got knocked out by Linares. That was his first loss by knockout, the Morales guy. But with that being said, I mean, his resume is pretty like low-level tier as far as opposition, and his career is just beginning. So it's hard to make an assessment of how real that power is at this stage in his career. But obviously, he's got speed, and Eddie Reynoso alluded that he's had heavy hands. So if you combine heavy hands with speed, he could string together, you know, good power, because that creates explosiveness. So he showed that with the Romero Duno and this last fight, that he could get sudden and abrupt stoppages, like I said, because he got first and second round knockouts in his career. But this is a step up in level of competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't listen. If somebody fights Garcia and they
short, that's what I wanted to say.
If somebody goes after Garcia, they jump on him, try to get at him. Of course, he's gonna look good. Who has he knocked out that's world class? That's what I want to know. Maybe he blasts.
To start your show now, press 1 to hear important.
Or who's he beaten? Yeah, that's the biggest question too. Forget knocking out.
Oh, that's fun. He hasn't done shit. I mean,
he blasted out Romero Duno.
Yeah, he looks.
Romero Duno. Sorry, Bucho. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Romero Duno seemed pretty tough when he was there with Journeyman. Romero Duno was holding his own in these Oscar de la Hoya cards, and he was pretty durable, but he got hit with a shot that knocked him out. And the other guy that went 7 rounds with Tank Davis, this guy was able to knock him out in like 2 rounds also. That's what I want to say.
Revolucion, what are your thoughts on that?
It's a big step up. I don't know much about do know. But how big are these guys compared to one another? Because last I saw Campbell, he was against Lomachenko, you know. So in my mind's eye, I think I'm looking at him like he's like a really tall lightweight. But how does he stack up next to?
I mean, maybe Garcia's even bigger.
Well,
I don't know.
Let's check it out, though. Let's check it out.
According, he's going to have to deal with this
maybe
big,
a little bit
big lanky kid.
According to BoxRec,
you get the pictures of Garcia up.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting them up here. According to BoxRec, Ryan King of the Twinks Garcia is 5'10", and I'm gonna go ahead and say Luke Campbell's probably 5'9". Hold on a second. They have him listed as hold on. 5'9". Yes,
now,
indeed.
Just let me add this. Ryan Garcia is now training with what's his name again? Jesus, Canelo's trainer.
Reynoso.
Eddie Reynoso. Maybe the diet is similar as well, right? And that's possible because if you look at Ryan Garcia, he's beefing up, man.
Yeah, he's beefing up, definitely. He's
so, you know, we're talking about size differences here. I mean, yes, Luke Campbell did look bigger against Lomachenko, but that's because, like we've always been saying on this goddamn show, Lomachenko is he's a featherweight. I mean, he's 2 weight divisions above where he should be. So, of course, he looks small against Campbell. Now, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, I think this guy should be a welterweight, or he will be a welterweight at some point. So, size difference, I don't think I think the advantage goes to Ryan.
By the way,
definitely, because that's the missing component, the size, and he's growing into his man strength. The other guy, he's already a full-grown man, but he's kind of like on the thin side. He's a lanky, like a revolution man. Sorry, Mr. BDA.
That's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, people in the chat room are saying. Virtuoso says, did BDA just call Ryan Garcia a twink? I absolutely did. Then Butch was talking about what's his name, Garcia beefing up, and so Delboy, shout out to Delboy, says #beef. SSB28 says Mexican meat. So already this show, we're about 10 minutes in, barely 10 minutes in, it's already turning dirty. So shout out to everybody out there in the chat room for muddying the waters and turning this into the Pornhub boxing arena or whatever the fuck. There we go. I had to put that in there. You know what, Bucho, you're talking about him beefing up. I can't play Instagram videos. You know that, guys, now that if you want to play some Instagram videos, you actually have to have an Instagram account. You gotta get in there.
We have a BDA account.
I'm not gonna I don't want to, just on principle, I don't want to create an Instagram account. By the way, guys, phone lines are open. So, and if you want a Discord link, and jump on the panel, open doors. So come on down. Just gotta give us a shout out on the Discord. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody wants to say something?
Is this a Comida episode?
Is this like a what?
Comida? What's that?
Kumite. No, it's not. It's
Kumite.
Not
I was like La Cocina, or I think it was in La Cocina. I was like, the fuck is
Not comida, not cocina.
No, this is not a kumite. Did you hear the gong? No. There you have it.
Once I hear that gong, that's
it. It's on.
That's when it's on. Okay. Pavlov's dog. Being nice to the callers today.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
No, but seriously,
the only way that I can explain it, that I can mention it, BDA. Look, Francisco Fonseca got knocked out by Ryan Garcia because he's that much bigger. Francisco Fonseca went 7 rounds with Tank Davis because they're more equal in size. Tank Davis is a power puncher, but since they're more equal in size, he was able to last 7 rounds. With Ryan Garcia, he got sparked out because Garcia is that bigger. It just shows you the differences amongst weight classes. Even though they were fighting at the same weight at the time, I mean, Fonseca's a smaller guy than Garcia is.
Mm-hmm. Look, it's possible, man. Anything's possible. And it's possible that Garcia actually blasts Luke Campbell out of there. But in terms of boxing, you know who I would like to see Garcia fight first? I want to see him fight a fellow prospect. There's 2 videos out there of him sparring Ronaldo Romero, I think is his name. Hold on, let me check it out. Who's a prospect himself. Rolando Romero. I think he's a Dominican, a guy of Dominican descent. I'm going to put up his stats here. His info. Rolando Romero, 11-0, 10 knockouts. He's a lightweight as well. He's 5'8", so he's not that short for a lightweight. He has not fought anybody of note, although he has been looking impressive by knocking almost everybody out. So put him in there. He's already got beef with Garcia. They got beef, as they call it now, with each other via the internet. Put them in there together. See who come. I know usually the promoters don't like to match prospects against each other because they don't want to lose a potential meal ticket. But it makes more sense that for Ryan Garcia, who's 21, 22, jumping in there against freaking Luke Campbell.
Well, Luke Campbell could be just like ready for the taking, not necessarily on the down slide, but in the beginning of where he's not in his prime anymore.
You want to repeat that because you cut off at the end?
Sorry, he might be entering like the end of his prime.
Campbell.
Not necessarily like ready for the taking. Yes, Campbell. It's still a dangerous fight. I would even dare to say it's almost a 50-50 fight. But Luke Campbell's not necessarily in his optimal prime any longer.
I don't know, man. I mean, according to BoxRec, the guy's 32 years old, I think. Luke Campbell, that is.
Well, yeah, for boxing, that's kind of starting, to make a difference. As a human being, when you're 32 is when you hit your prime, actually, as a man. But in boxing, 32 after you had, would you consider his career that he's had several, not wars, but, enough fights to where, he's maybe not optimal?
Yeah, I guess you could say he's past his peak a little bit, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's past his prime. You know what I mean? Because to me, past his prime is really when you start seeing the wear and tear. Past his peak means he's just not, like you said, optimal shape, but he's still very good. He could still be on top if he plays his cards right. Could still be on top. But you know what? Look, the guys fought Linares, Lomachenko. He did not get stopped against those guys. He lost that very close decision to Ivan Mendy. So he's fought guys who are quick and who have experience. Garcia has not done any of that. He's knocked out 2 guys in a row in the first round. So now all of a sudden everybody's losing their shit over it. But he has not gone 12 rounds. Like you said, Gonzalo, Morales, the guy he struggled with when he was fighting on X video or Facebook, whatever it was. And then Linares fought that same guy and knocked him out. Now, again, I'm not playing boxing math here or triangle theory, like Bucho calls it. But it does give you an indication of who's where and what. And freaking Garcia has not fought anybody. Bucho, what do you think? Do you think they're trying to push Garcia too fast in there?
Well, how old is he? 21, 22?
Yeah, 21.
Fuck it, do it. Let's do it like the old days, man. I mean, you used to have all these great boxers, and you look at their records, and by the age of 21, 22, they were, going for the world titles. Mm-hmm. Now they have to be like, 26 or something? And then, in a blink of an eye, they're 31. This is what happened with Errol Spence Jr. This is what happened with Keith Thurman. You name it. They're in their fucking 30s. Look at Crawford. Sure, he has all these belts, but the guy's, how old is he? 34? Something like that. And it feels like his career is incomplete. He's missing that match, man, that like defining fight. He should have gotten it by now, to be honest. So, hey, put him in there against the world champions and whatever. I don't give a shit, man.
I like Bucho's attitude. Sometimes you do need a guy like that to demand more of fighters. Real quick, in the chat room, Luback77 says 35 plus is slight time. Yeah, that once you reach, I mean, I know everybody's different, but usually 35, that's when you better start making things count because you're running out of time in boxing. PSK says, at BDA Nat King Bucho, he avenged the Mendy loss. Absolutely. That's the other thing most people forget. Blue Collar Sport TV says, Caballel did a better job on Chisora than White. Late Al says, no disrespect, but what are you talking about, George? Okay, I think he's talking about the guy in the chat. Fat Apple says, next excuses will be Deontay ate some Nando's and Andre Dirrell didn't test the burger salad count. Frankie says, how old was Canelo versus Mayweather? He was 23, I believe, right? Or there were
22, 23?
22, 23, yeah. And it did look at him. It didn't hurt him getting outboxed. He didn't get beat up or anything.
The only case is which I always mention is Fernando Vargas.
Nando.
He was what,
Yes.
22 when he fought Trinidad. But then Trinidad, I mean, he really fucked him up. So I mean, it can happen, but hey,
Do you know that Vargas now
you gotta try.
every time he talks about that fight now, Vargas, he always mentions the double padding. Remember the controversy there with the double padding and Trinidad?
You cut off.
Because you remember when Hopkins' brother Nassim, who caught, he wanted Trinidad to have his hands re-wrapped, remember, in the Hopkins fight? And so from then on, everybody assumed that Trinidad had been using illegal hand wrapping. Now, when I'm talking about illegal hand wrapping, I mean he was starting off with, instead of with the gauze, he was starting with something else. So the procedure itself was improper, but it's not like he had any foreign objects in there like Margarito was caught. So Vargas, ever since then, he says that he was not on an even playing field. I think same thing with William Joppy. But I don't understand how he could have, Vargas got caught with a fucking left hook in the first round. Same thing with De La Hoya, got caught with a flush hook. I mean, what does that have to do with hand wraps? He got jolted, he got shot.
Yeah, he got destroyed. No
That's
excuses.
right. So, and I remember we used to talk about that, Bucho, like, oh, fucking Trinidad with his double hand wraps. Now, though, after you see things differently, you see what real cheating is with some other guys, you start thinking, you know what, maybe it wasn't really what they were making it out to be.
Real cheating, like, the floppy glove that Tyson Fury had. That's a real crime.
That's right.
So that's what you call stacking. When you put the tape on the knuckle, then you go to more tape and padding and more tape. Once you get some sweat in there, it's supposed to make it where it's a little harder, kind of like a cast.
But was
how
that
true that is?
Was that what Trinidad was doing, or?
Well,
okay, so he muted himself. You got it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think that's the stacking. How he was exactly doing it, I don't know.
I see. Yeah, well, listen, but you're right, Bucho. This all started because you said that you want to see guys getting pushed. Man, that came out wrong when we're talking about Ryan Garcia. You want to see him... you want to see him fight somebody...
Do you believe this guy?
You want to see him get challenged soon, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, fucking let's do it. Well, he's a young guy. I mean, you look at World War II and shit. How old are these fucking kids? 19 and shit? Fucking getting shot at and stuff. And
right, so
this guy, he can't get a touch. I mean, that's a great comparison, I think.
It's an absolutely horrible comparison, but I get what you're saying, though. It's true. I mean, some of these guys, Jermaine Taylor was 27 when he fought Hopkins, and Jim Lampley kept calling him a kid during the fight. And who was it? At some point, somebody said, he's not a kid anymore, Lampley. He's 27. It's like, it's like you see when the commentators try to be biased, they pull out all the stops. But you're right. Look, listen, Garcia right now, he is a kid in boxing parley. Not parley.
But you want to call him a kid? What about the American Civil War? You had these 12-year-olds lying. I'm 14, 15, so they can get stabbed with bayonets. Those are kids.
That sounds like fake news, man. I don't think that really happened.
Joyce, he's a kid in today's times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, George Floyd was a kid. That's how they kept referring to him as a kid on CNN. All right. What was I gonna say? All right, so that's the thing. Whether with Ryan Garcia. Now, Ryan Garcia, I don't know if you guys remember, he tweeted something, or I forget how this whole beef started, but him and now retired UFC champ, I think 2-division champ, Henry Cejudo, got into a little bit of a Twitter beef. And Cejudo says he would come out of retirement to box Ryan Garcia. Now, Cejudo's, I think he's like 5'6" or something, 5'5". He's never boxed before, obviously, as a professional. These guys, I gotta blame Mayweather McGregor. I mean, I know it wasn't the circus that everybody thought it was. At first, I remember when the fight came out, I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, but then I started thinking about it. I said, okay, who cares, man? They want to make money that way, and people want to pay for it. Fine. But now they got all these, UFC champs and ex-champs and wanting to fight boxers in the ring, boxing style. Would you guys be interested in paying for it, or?
Well, they're doing that because they make more money fighting the boxing superstars, bigger paydays. And I think a lot of people would be interested in buying those type of events. I think boxing and UFC got a sort of like a rivalry.
Yeah, that's the
A
thing.
lot of people BDA think that UFC fighter could fuck up a boxer, or a boxer is like, no way, this guy, he can't beat me like that inside of her two gloves. Kind of like that, I guess.
If they spar, they can, they take it easy and all that. It can be a good thing. But if it's an actual fight, you saw Mayweather. Oh, wait a minute. Butcher says I'm calling. Is that you, Butcher, the 438?
Yeah, and I can't hear your shit because that game said that it wasn't working, and it's true because I called and I can't hear I can't hear the show.
Hold on, let me
Through
answer.
Block.
Let me answer, and let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me on the phone? Hello. Thanks. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
No, I can't.
No, I can't.
All right. So let's restart it. Can you restart it? Meanwhile, Butcher, can you restart it? Wait a minute. I can't hear you. I can hear you on the phone, I think. Butcher. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You can hear me? Yeah.
No, I'm hearing you through Discord.
All right. Listen, I'm gonna stop this episode, and if you can, create another one, and we'll open up.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
No, I'm not gonna say what you. Thank you for using Blog Talk. It didn't work. They owe me a phone call.
Shitty product.
This is the BDA. This is the BDA gravy train, everybody.
That's right. This is what we get.
Super chats.
Fucking phone calls.
Fellas, I wanted to ask you guys something.
We want our money back.
That's right. Moving on from Ryan Garcia, because there's only so much Ryan Garcia we can talk about.
Fuck that.
Here's something. I wanted to make a video on this, but we might as well talk about it now here. Derevchenko says he's been offered fights with Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo says in another article, they're saying he's not going to fight a champ this fall. So nobody with a belt. Now, that's good news because a belt doesn't necessarily mean it's the guy's good. On the other hand, the opponents that Canelo is looking at right now, David Lemieux, they're strongly considering him because he's with Golden Boy Promotions. Derevchenko now, and they even said maybe, if none of that works, Anthony Durrell. Anthony fucking Durrell. So my thing is this. On the one hand, David Lemieux's manager said, we're not going to do this on the cheap. We want to get paid. Derevchenko, a fight with Charlo would be easier to make because he's with the PBC. So if he wants to fight Canelo, he's probably going to demand a lot of money. My question to you guys is this. Do we find fault in these guys for not wanting to do what Andy Ruiz did last year, which is to step in relatively late and take a bit of a pay cut, but still take a chance against the number one guy and take all the belts away from him, have that chance? Or do we fault Canelo for not, spending a little bit more money maybe a little bit of his own money even, or taking a pay cut so the other guy gets a little bit more, so that the fans can actually enjoy a nice competitive fight? Who's at fault here, if anybody is at fault?
That's a big one. Who's at fault?
Well, 10 weeks is not short time. I mean, you're gonna do a tour, press tour, all that. That might take 2 weeks, like Billy Joe Saunders mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think 8 weeks is not enough time. That's plenty of time. And look, he's offered it to Billy Joe. He rejected the offer. I think that Derevchenko is a good fight because they're like equal in size, about the same height and same dimensions. Although he's pulling the guy up to 68, and you don't necessarily have to fight a champion all the time because part of the reason, like you said, that doesn't necessarily equate to a great fight.
Mm-hmm.
And the two other guys, I don't think those are guys that are kind of tailor-made. They're older, and I think he would win those easily against Durrell and the other guy you mentioned.
Yeah,
Derevchenko is an interesting proposition.
I was talking around there at my gym, asking people about who they think would win, like Lomachenko, Canelo, Lemieux, and they said, Lemieux's gonna get picked apart in there. What I like about Lemieux though is that he comes to fight. Jeez, Luis, hold on, Butcher, are you there? My microphone just
David Lemieux, he comes to fight. Yeah, he does come to fight, but I saw his last one of his. I think he had 2 fights. Since I lost my. Anyways, he looked like crap. One of his last fights. He looked really bad. He's fighting at 168. He really should be fighting at 160. I think he's a small 168, just a height difference.
I think he's big, Bucho, because he's got real power. I mean, I'm talking
But
about
he's
one of the
short.
hardest punchers possibly.
No, I understand. Maybe the power is there. Even though he didn't knock out that opponent, that fight that I saw, he didn't knock the guy out. He went 12 rounds. The power, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. But the thing is, you need to land that punch, right? And he doesn't move his head. He needs to get close to his opponent. Unless he's fighting... that American guy he knocked out. Like in an impressive fashion. What's his name? Curtis Stevens. Yeah. Curtis Stevens, he shells up. So it's easy to cut the distance. He's not even doing shit. And he managed to land that punch. But if the opponent has range, which he is going to be able to find this type of opponents at 168, long, tall. I mean, imagine him fighting Callum Smith. Could you imagine that shit? I mean, he's going to get destroyed. He needs to cut the distance.
Canelo don't got the range. He don't got the range, but he got the waist movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
He's too
Lemieux.
slow and he's too flat-footed.
Oh my God! Remember against Billy Joe Saunders? David Lemieux couldn't even cut the ring. He's extremely bad. The power's there,
especially if he's overweight too, right, Bucho?
Yeah. No, he should be at 160. He should be at 160. And by the way, some of my friends saw him like around where I live. So, I don't want to talk talk too much shit because he might be listening and maybe he knocks me out.
But wait a minute. You're not talking shit. You're not talking shit. You're just you're talking about his limitations as a super middleweight.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I think he should be at 160. So that's just my thing.
But he's in a catch-22. He's the perfect. By the way, guys, phone lines are open, so you want to call in, go ahead and do that. What was I going to say? He's in a catch-22 because he can't make 160 anymore. He was killing himself apparently to make 160, and at 168, like you said, he's too short. And look, his attack at 160, what was good about it was that he closed the distance quickly, and he's pretty explosive. But at 168, if he's not setting it up with anything, he's gonna get out boxed. You saw what guys like Golovkin and Billy Joe Saunders did. Guys who know how to box long range, they anticipated his attacks all the time, same speed. At 168, maybe those guys aren't as fast as Saunders and all that, but they're taller, and it's not gonna.
Harder.
Exactly. But
bad movement. Anyways, going back to Canelo, do we want to see him against Lemieux? No. I don't want to see that fight.
I just want the most interesting part of that fight. If Lemieux landed a shot, I would like to see how Canelo's chin keeps holding up. But I mean, for Lemieux to hit him squarely, that might not even happen throughout the course of the entire fight.
Good point. That's what I think would happen. Nothing would happen, basically. He wouldn't be able to land anything on Canelo. So what's the fucking point?
I think
and even if he did, he might be able to take the punch. I mean, he did take Golovkin's punches, especially in that 10th round in the second fight. He should have gone down.
I think even if Canelo stands in front of him, Canelo's got such a fucking thick bull neck because of those supplements that he takes, and his guard is so good. I think he could actually... I think he could actually just cover up and take not all the time, but I think he wouldn't be in too much trouble if he did that. But yeah, man, I mean, I think he would just pick Lemieux apart, man. But it's still a dangerous fight. Don't get me wrong. But so you guys, would you rather see him against Derevchenko?
Yeah, because they're more equal in size. And Derevchenko, he's pretty fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's pretty mobile, and he likes to change the angle, something that goes along with the Ukrainian school of boxing. And a lot of people thought he beat Jacobs. This guy tends to get dropped early, like flash knockdown, but he recovers and picks it up. So it'd be interesting to see. I think he's more active. He throws more punches than Canelo. That's one interesting thing. He's more active. So, I mean, they're equal in dimensions. It'd be an interesting fight. Canelo, I think he's slightly more powerful. Maybe considerably more powerful, but that's a good fight.
Well, I remember...
Yeah, definitely at 68 more powerful.
Yeah, that's the other thing, though. You just reminded me of something there, Gonzalo. If the Derevchenko-Canelo fight happens, it's going to be like a catchweight, or it's going to be over 160. So it's either a catch weight above 160 or full on 168. And I don't know if Derevchenko's
I've
going
been
to win.
noticing everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it right now with the coronavirus BDA. Like they're coming in at 143, fighting one division above their own more division. But I mean, yeah, Canelo's gonna come in prepared. He's not gonna be like, oh well, this is the coronavirus. I'm gonna just fight a tune-up and come in heavier. I mean, how will this affect Derevchenko, right?
That's a good question, man. And he's gonna use that as leverage and say, look, I'm fighting above my weight. I want to get paid. Shout out to Kenshiro. Yeah. Just real quick, shout out to Kenshiro who donated the super chat. He says Triple G or Canelo should fight Ryota Murata. Easy belt. Yeah, maybe. Why not?
Shout out to for Kenshiro. A while. I've been saying it for a while because he's a banger too. He gets in there to fight. One of these Billy Joe blowjobs running around the ring.
Come on, man.
Hey, Canelo should go to Japan.
Yeah. You know, at the time, I also believe that too, Revolution. I thought that was an interesting fight, but a lot of people said, no, why you got to pick Ryota Murata? It's a good fight because the guy's exciting. He comes to fight. He's a gold medalist, silver medalist. I can't recall.
I like to see him in there with G over Canelo. I'll take either fight, but, you know, I think him and Triple G pair up a little bit more nicely, especially little bit younger guy, not as skilled, going against G, who's slowing down quite a bit. So a little bit of a crossroads there.
He got a good gas tank too.
Go ahead.
He lost to Caleb Truex, right? Or who did he lose to? But then he avenged it on the rematch. But that guy, whoever he lost to, that guy was training like he was training for a marathon. So he came in like really, really prepared. But then he avenged it. That doesn't necessarily mean that Murata doesn't have a good gas tank. He does. It's just the other guy was so well prepared that he went in there and just beat him in a decision. But he avenged that.
He avenged two of them. He did that against Ndam. He did it against Rob Brandt was the other one.
Yeah,
I meant to say Rob Brandt.
There you go. But he avenged twice. So.
Yeah, so it's good. At least he shows you that he can improve on the rematch. But the fact that he's getting beat and outboxed. Now, if Canelo fights him, if either Canelo or Golovkin fight him, they're not going to be dancing around the ring the way Ndam and Rob Brandt are, because they are very good movers. So there is a possibility that they get caught with something big. Nevertheless, I don't know, man. It's Murata. Again, they already said they don't want to fight somebody with a belt. Because probably somebody with a belt is going to demand too much money. But at the same time, you know, these guys that like Canelo, he's giving them an opportunity. These guys maybe should step up and take it. On the other hand, why would, you know, okay, there's no crowd. That's going to affect the purse these guys get. But it's still, you know, pay them, meet them halfway. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know jack squat about negotiations and you know, I'm no Donald Trump. So what do you guys think? Can they find a compromise?
Sure, but look, Billy Joe Saunders, but I mean, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. He didn't want to accept the money, in other words, because he's not about doing that. He's about, what is he about, really? But he made a statement that he's not about the money. He's not even about legacy, I would say, but he said he wasn't about the money. He was going to go in there to win, not just to collect the paycheck. But these other guys, a lot of people would collect that paycheck. But I don't know if Derevchenko would sell himself short because he's really hungry for a victory, for a belt. He lost a close competitive fight on the scorecards against Triple G. He lost a close competitive fight against Jacobs. And a lot of people thought he won both fights. And he had been waiting 5 years for that other title opportunity. So, I mean, this guy's going to be really hungry until the point comes that hunger's going to run out. And he's just going to go into, like, gatekeeper or status to where, you know, he's not even going to show up to, you know, to win. But right now, I still think he's hungry. He's got that fire. But, I mean, he's been wanting this for a long time. It comes a point to where you're going to say, fuck it, I'm not going in there to win. But right now, I mean, you guys still think Derevchenko's going in there to win?
Yes. I think that Golovkin fight was a confidence boost because a lot of people had him winning that fight.
Okay,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, man. Here's my thing. Derevyanchenko is 34 years old. He already got 2 shots at the big time against Golovkin and Jacobs. He fell short. I think now he probably will never get another Canelo fight again. So I don't know. Maybe it's a hard one for him to choose. On the other hand, 34. That Golovkin fight was no cakewalk. He ate some flying bricks, and it's only because he's so tough and so strong that he was able to stay standing. But he took a bit of a shellacking in there himself. So at 34 years old, I know he's only got 13 fights. I mean 15 total, but you know. We don't know if he's the same after the Golovkin fight. It was a very tough fight.
34, maybe like he's in decline. Maybe that was his last big performance. But by the way, Tito Toledo 1965 in the chat says they're shaking, waiting for Canelo to call a name. But when Canelo calls out, they turn it down. So basically, they all say they want to fight Canelo, but when Canelo calls them out, they don't want to fight him. Is that true?
I think there's a bit of a truth to that, yeah, because that's what some of these guys do. They used to do that with Golovkin too. It's like, hey man, I know Golovkin this, Golovkin that, blah blah blah. I want to fight him. When he had a fight signed up, then when he didn't have a fight signed, whoops, all of a sudden I'm gonna fight this guy from the PBC. Or I'm gonna fight that guy. Then Golovkin signs a fight. Man, I beat Golovkin and Canelo on the same night. Blah blah blah. It's like, all right, And by the way, somebody tried to call in earlier. Did you hang up because you couldn't hear us, or like if somebody could do a test and see if the
okay, I guess I'll call back.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing with the Derevyanchenko. It's like, on the one hand, 2 sides of the coin as with every story. On the one hand, does he take the fight, or does he wait and say, look, I'm not going to be in optimum shape and I'm not going to get the money I want. Let me get a couple of big wins. And also, you got to remember, like I said, according to this Boxing Scene article, he's got another option. He's probably got Charlo also that he could fight. So, maybe the PBC say, look, we'll pay you a little bit more and we're not going to drop you just whether you win or lose. We're going to keep you on the roster. We're going to continue giving you some good fights, some good paydays. Whereas if he loses with Canelo, depending on how he loses, because Canelo can embarrass you if you're not up to task, you could lose a whole bunch of, cachet. Let me see if the phone line is working.
No, I can't hear shit.
Ah, fuck. Okay, okay, hold on. We got 917. 917, can you hear me? You're on the air. 917. 917.
Oh.
Yeah, can you hear me? 917.
No, that's me.
Yeah, what up, BDA?
He can hear me. I told you. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh.
I think it's Bucho's phone then that's all fucked up.
There's like an echo, I think.
Yeah.
It's like slow. There's like a delay.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll see if we can make it work. What's up, man? That's a big delay, man.
I think he's listening on YouTube.
I'm just here to talk about Canelo, man, because I heard you guys talking. I'm a big Canelo fan. I recognize that he's very good, right?
Hold on, because I think you're listening to us on.
But
I think you're listening to us.
I don't like the way he's being handled because we want to see him.
I gotta keep saying. Well, hold on. I gotta say because he's gonna hear it on the delay. You're listening on YouTube, and that's why it's delayed. So we're gonna give you a StreamYard link.
Guys above 33 years old, stuff like that.
Just hang up.
And but I understand that him being on the zone, it's kind of hard for him.
Yeah, sorry. If you're listening on the YouTube, if you're listening on the YouTube, I had to hang up because there's a 20-second delay. It's not gonna work. If you have StreamYard, go on StreamYard and I'll pick up there. Bucho, we got somebody in the StreamYard, and I'm just gonna real quick.
It's Efe, I think.
I know it is, but it's just.
Yeah.
Yo,
just
what's up?
2 seconds.
How you doing, Mr. BDA? How you doing, Bucho?
Yeah, Jefe, I heard on Mark's stream that you were going around smoking the peace pipe. So I asked that you please be on your best behavior. All right.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm all smoking the blunt, but yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, yeah, listen, we're just talking Canelo versus Derevyanchenko or Charlo. Or that's the other thing. They said, well, if those guys don't take the fight, he might fight Anthony Dirrell, which is, let's face it, a stupid, disgusting fight for Canelo to be taken. What do you think? Who's in the wrong here?
I think Canelo should take an easy fight, bro. He's been taking too many hard fights back to back, back to back. So if everybody's fighting a bum, why can't Canelo fight a bum? So we got to keep the same energy for Canelo as we keep for these other fighters. So I wouldn't mind him fighting Darrell or Lemieux, which I think are the most possible fights.
But wait a minute. So are you telling me if there's a possibility for the Derevchenko fight, you would rather Canelo fight Darrell?
Derevchenko's coming off an L, so why should he fight Derevchenko? Derevchenko brings nothing to the table. I think he's 14-3 or some record like that. Derevchenko brings nothing to the table, so why not give someone like Lemieux, who's a golden boy fighter, who fights at 168? Why not give him a shot?
But David Lemieux
for less
almost got knocked out by some nobody from the Ukraine.
But it's not about that, but it's about giving fighters in your stable and your promotional company, giving them a shot while giving Canelo a tune-up at the same time. So you see where I'm coming from, bro?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But Derevchenko, you said he took an L, took a very close L against, at worst, the number 2 guy in the division.
Derevchenko already had his opportunity. He priced himself out. That's why Canelo got stripped from the IBF. He was asking like $7 million, bro. So right now, I don't know how much money he's asking for, but I don't think Canelo should fight him because he brings nothing to the table this time.
So it's
he's
about
not a mandatory. He don't have no belt, and the fight's at 168.
Hold on. So it's about the money then. It's not about how he's not actually a good fighter.
Yeah, bro, we're in the pandemic, man. It's all about saving the money, bro.
Okay, but you do admit that Derevchenko would actually
usually I go to Chick-fil-A. This time I had to go to McDonald's, bro.
But you do admit that Derevchenko would actually be a better opponent for Canelo.
Yes, it is a better opponent, but you got to see it in the position. I'm coming from a business aspect, bro. Like I've been growing businesses and working the business industry all my life. So you gotta hold on, bro. I don't know why people are laughing, bro. But
no, that's a soundboard. That's a soundboard. That's a soundboard.
We're laughing because you live in the woods, but you run businesses.
That's not true. That's not true. We're
revolution. I don't want to talk to you, bro. I'm talking to BDA and I'm talking to Bucho, bro. But yeah,
by the way,
man,
can I just make an announcement? Can I just make an announcement real quick? We had to shut the phone. We had to shut the phone lines because they're not working for some people. For some reason, people. Sorry.
I could try to open the phone lines on my end.
But then it's still gonna be a delay, right?
Let me try it. No.
All right, go ahead.
Keep talking to El Jefe.
All right. So okay,
yeah,
so El Jefe,
as I was saying.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I've been, I see what Golden Boy's trying to do, bro. I see what the zone's trying to do, bro. It's not bro. We're in a pandemic, in a global pandemic, man. It's about making the smart choices, not the dumb choices, bro. It's about earning the buck, not wasting the buck.
It is a smart thing to do. Fight a guy like Darrell who's not gonna pose that much trouble, and avoiding a guy like Derevchenko and saying, "Hey, let's see, he priced himself out." I agree that's very smart. Now, hold on. You were going after Revolution, though. Were you done with that, or?
Oh, Revolution. He don't want no smoke. I actually went to his channel. I bodied him, and I have nothing else to talk to him. He's actually a Luciferian. He's not a believer in Christ. If I believe right, I think BDA, you're also a Christian, bro. So
that's right.
We're actually true Christians. So we don't believe.
Dude, shut up. You're either a fucking fake troll persona, or you're just some fucking weirdo, bro.
You think what I think you are, bro? I think you're a bitch, bro. But that's just me. But let's keep it in context, bro.
Wait a minute.
This isn't.
I'm a bitch.
This isn't Christian-like behavior.
That's right.
How come I'm a bitch? No. I got that.
Yeah, Revolution. You're a ginger, so shut up, bro. As I was saying, bro.
I'm a bitch and I'm a ginger. Man. Okay. All right. Can you explain why I'm a bitch?
Bro,
can we hold hands?
I was saying,
can we hold hands and pray?
I thought you were gonna say.
As I was saying, this is a Christian show, bro. BDA is a Christian. I'm a Christian. We believe in Jesus Christ.
No. El Jefe be a Mexican who lives in the wood, but he do remind me of a lot of white women from like the suburbs where I grew up.
No,
they're fake Christians who they go to church and they donate, the $10, $20 in the collection plate and show off to everybody. But they'll look down their nose at you and talk shit behind your back. Like, You're a conniving fucking Stepford
No,
wife,
no,
dude.
no. I ain't that, bro. I believe in the word
You're
of God. I actually
feminine.
read the book,
You
bro.
are
I actually
feminine.
believe in Jesus Christ. If I'm correct, Bucho, are you an unorthodox Christian, or what do you consider yourself?
Unorthodox
I'm a
Christian.
Muslim.
He's
a
a
Muslim.
southpaw Christian.
I'm a Muslim.
Suck a dick, F.A.
It's a new denomination, the Southpaw Christian.
All right,
So
but
you're
listen,
Southpaw
listen,
Christian,
hold
bro?
on, Bucho. Did you? I logged out from Blog Talk and I
Yeah, you
ended the.
closed the whole thing.
That's what I did.
I told you to just. Anyways,
What
Like,
does that
close
make?
the-
What does that make Terrence Crawford then, though? Switch it in Christian.
Yeah, who's a
Switch
switch
it.
hitting Christian? A switch hitting Christian. And by the way, I wanted to tell you guys. Okay, so Bucho, start over the fucking the phone calls and you tell me if they work. All right, because I shut everything off.
yeah,
Like,
but I just.
I know of a switch
Oh,
hitting.
God.
Hey, yo,
I
BDA,
know-
bro, because
I
I
know
was
a
getting
switch
some
hitting
information, bro, and
He's on the phone
they're
right
telling me that you and Bucho are cousins. Is that true, bro?
yes, right. We're cousins from another mother. That's what we are.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad, bro.
Hey,
And
Bucho.
but yeah, bro, and they're saying that you guys weren't Mexicans, bro. That you guys were Pakistanis, bro. I just want to know if you guys could clear out that rumor, bro.
Oh no, actually, we're half Pakistani. That's what we are.
Half Pakistani.
Pakistani, yeah.
For
You
real,
don't
for
say
real?
don't say
Yeah.
Pakistan.
From
Don't say
the mountains.
Don't
What's
say
the-
Pakistanian like Angel Garcia. Remember that? You know, you got all these Pakistanians. It's like what? Who? Pakistanian? What is it? What is that now? All right, listen. I wanted to get back to the. Okay, Jefe, you want to talk boxing or you want to talk rumors, man?
Oh no, because I'm just going by what they told me, bro. And I just wanted you to explain those rumors because there's a lot of people pushing those narratives on Discord.
A lot of people. A lot of people. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, listen.
Hold up, wait a second. Wait a fucking second. Stop the fucking presses. And you know what? This is why Jefe should really be exiled from the goddamn YTBC. Because now here he goes. When he wants to look tough, he starts saying, oh, I know this and this and this about you. Is that true? Oh, I heard this is where you grew up. And he starts doing this shit. He done did it to Johnny. And this is what he does. And as internet people, we can't be even entertained in the thought of doxing one another. Is that what you're doing right now? Oh, yo, not really.
I ain't doxing shit, bro. I'm just saying
People in
what
the
I heard
chat
on Discord. That's all
are
I'm
saying that Jefe should be excommunicated.
Oh,
people are getting tired of
ominously
Jefe.
fucking mentioning your personal shit, dude.
Well, I'll say this. 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 I'll say this.
You go read the cue
I'll
card,
say this. Hold on. Close please. I'll say this. Jefe, I heard you on Rivals chat stream a couple of minutes ago, and you were smoking the peace pipe with everybody that you used to go at, and you were pretty calm. Now all of a sudden you get here, you start calling Louisiana bitch. We're trying to talk boxing. You start talking about, well, these people said this about you. These people said that. I mean, come on. You want to talk boxing or you want to talk something else, which got nothing to do with the conversation?
Oh yeah, I want to talk boxing, bro. But I just want to clear, because
gotta,
we're in an era, bro.
Jefe. No, hold on, Jefe. You gotta step it up then. You gotta step it up for me, and not
Yeah,
just for me,
I'll
but you gotta step it
my
up.
apologies,
You gotta
bro.
step it up.
I didn't mean to bring that
Hold on,
up or anything, but
you don't need to apologize.
it's just that
you don't have to apologize.
we live in an
you
era.
don't have to apologize, but you do have to step it up. If not for me, don't not forget about me. You gotta step it up for Jesus Christ. All right.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure,
Amen.
for sure, man.
There you go.
He died in the cross for us, but
well,
yeah,
that's,
man. As
that's
I was
one
saying,
point of view. That's one point of view. There's another point of view of what really happened, but we're not getting into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Catholics are Luciferians, but yeah, man. As I was saying, yeah, bro. It's all about being a trendsetter in 2020. It's all about opening our minds.
Bring it back to boxing. I was gonna mention something to you.
Hold on, bro. Let me finish my statement, bro. Like, let me finish my statement.
Let it go. Go back to boxing, bro. Hey, I also mentioned something to you. Hey, when you mentioned Debriachenko, not bringing nothing to the table. I mean, we know he's an exciting fighter. Like BDA said, he lost a close fight. And you saying that you want Canelo to take a tune-up. So if Debriachenko brings nothing to the table, why wouldn't he be the tune-up that you're speaking about?
Because he don't bring a name to the table like Lemieux. Lemieux is known for fighting Triple G.
No. Debriachenko's a name. He's hotter on the fucking.
He's not. He's more relevant now than nobody knows about Ukraine.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Gonzalo here, man. Because I mean,
me too, man.
David Lemieux's time, even here in Canada, where he lives and where he's from, and where he grew up as an amateur, when he fought that Ukrainian guy that Butcher was talking about, the crowd was very, very sparse. Now, of course, if he fights Canelo, it's going to be, people would buy that on pay-per-view here. But Derevchenko overall has a better resume, better track record, at least in the last 3 years. And the fight that he gave Golovkin, I mean, you have to assume that he would do the same thing with Canelo. But, again, financially, maybe that's where the problem is, though.
Yeah, I agree, but you also have to take in the looks. Lemieux is a good-looking dude, so you put that in with Canelo, it could almost be like you're pushing it to the female audience.
Fuck me up the ass with your hot teenage cock.
All right, whoa, Jefe, you gotta slow it down, man. Come on, with that type of talk.
That wasn't me that said that.
That sounded exactly like you, man. Come on. I'm just saying, please keep it. Yeah, just control yourself, please, because we don't want that gay shit here. Nothing wrong with being gay unless you're not gay. Then there's a big problem.
But no.
What were you gonna say?
As I was saying, bro. Yeah.
The chat here because no, hold on. Let me see if it works. Hold on, man. Let me tell you something. It's interesting how that happens here when you start. First, it's the phone calls. They're not, the phone lines aren't working. Now it's the chat. All right, I think we're back. And we're back. And we're back from the dead. All right, how you doing, fellas? Sorry about that. We completely. I think maybe that had something to do with the phone lines, Bucho. Maybe the internet connection was starting to screw up, and that was happening. But yeah, we were talking about Derevchenko. Look, that's why I wanted your opinion on him. On Derevchenko, Canelo. Who's at fault here? Shouldn't Canelo maybe, spring a little bit of money and say, hey, look, I want to bring people... because that's what I wanted to say. Look at the UFC. From out of nowhere, they pulled out Masvidal versus Usman, which is going to be taking place this Saturday. Completely last minute. Masvidal has his own issues with the UFC, and Dana White, the CEO of the UFC, he's been having his problems with fighters who want to get paid more, blah, blah, blah. But still, at the end of the day, they pulled this off. So can't Canelo actually, he's got about 10 weeks until he fights. Can't they really find him a suitable opponent, man?
Yeah, he's going to have to. I guess with the whole thing saying that he doesn't want to face a world champion, I don't know if that means he's going to fight a mandatory, so I don't think that's going to be a mandatory either. That means that they're going to give him somebody that he can beat easily and collect a paycheck, but maybe not as high, and hook the other guy up with something according to these times that we live in the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. Man, they have to do something. Like, one of these guys eventually has to step up, one of these boxers, and say, look, I'm taking a pay cut, but I'm giving the fans something in return. I mean, look at Canelo. Look, I like Canelo. He's fought everybody. But there's asterisks too when you start looking at it. I mean, he could have fought Golovkin in 2016. That's my question. Why didn't that fight happen in 2016? Did he really need to fight Amir Khan and Liam Smith? And did he really have to fight Chavez at the beginning of 2017?
Masvidal's gonna knock Usman the fuck out, BDA. I'm telling you, that's my dog. That's my Cubano. Revenga.
The thing I have to say about that although Canelo, he is like a natural 60-pounder, he's pretty stocky, got a big back, big legs, big neck. So he's like a true middleweight at this point. In 2016, maybe he was a true middleweight in size, but as far as like facing middleweight competition, he hadn't faced anybody around that size. It's kind of like speaking about Derevchenko now. He's a 60-pounder. If he gets pulled up to 68, yeah, he might be like, well, he's not an actual like 68-pounder, but also a factor that he hasn't faced other 68-pounders might make this an easy fight for Canelo, because Canelo has fought 68-pounders. You understand what I'm saying? Basically, at that time, with Canelo, he hadn't fought anybody aside from maybe Chavez at the time.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's a point well taken. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he went, but then again, can we agree that he could have actually just fought Golovkin straight up? He didn't really need to fight Chavez.
That would have been fighting the beast at the time. Still kind of like a prime Golovkin, knockout, a guy with all knockouts, the knockout streak. That would have been fighting the best and the beast of the Golovkin that was at that time.
Mm-hmm.
BDA, I don't know. Hey, BDA, I don't know if you see my community posts ever pop up bro, but like I went off on everybody in boxing, dog. Greedy ass dudes. NASCAR's back up and running. NBA starts back up next week. UFC's up and running. What's your fucking excuse, boxing? You don't have one, bro. The only excuse you have is because you're trying to get a few extra dollars from the live gate and all that kind of. That is no excuse, dog. These fights should be getting made right fucking now. Bada beep, bada bop, bada boop. Period.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? But the training camps, these guys got to prepare. And they're coming back, Johnny, in August. In August, the Zone's coming back. ESPN's been back with 3 fight cards per week. Maybe not the top guys.
But they garbage though, Gonzalo. Let's see. And now we Casemiro and Teofimo Lomachenko like we were supposed to a couple months ago. Let's see them fights.
Okay.
And by the way, on that, because some people might say, "Oh, you guys are being unfair to boxers." Or the boxing community, the promoters, the fact that they're not putting on good fights. Listen, that UFC is doing it, and I know the UFC is a different model. They're a monopoly. They got the monopoly on MMA. But at the same time, I just read this article yesterday from Boxing Scene. It says, Golden Boy, Mayweather Promotions, and Top Rank applied for forgivable loans amid pandemic. And these were some loans that the government was giving. Now, I'm thinking, on the one hand, I don't know jack squat about running a promotional company, so I don't know what their expenses are, how expensive it is, blah, blah, blah. The fact that these guys are asking for money, especially, they're not a small business. I'm sorry, Top Rank Promotions is not a small business. When you put on fights that garner $500 million, and you can pay a guy like Pacquiao $100 million to fight Mayweather on one night, or close to $100 million, I'm sorry, you're not a small business. So now they come back and they say, well, we can't make the big fights. I mean, who's in the wrong here, guys? You let me know.
Yeah, listen, BDA, let me put it to you like this. I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about me, you, Gonzalo, Bucho, and to some extent, Revolution.
I think you were,
I'm
man.
I'm not talking about any of the hardcores that's been watching this shit since we were 5 years old. Okay? To the casuals. Listen here. Just let me get this point.
I'll listen. I'm going to go take a piss, but I'll be listening. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, seriously.
Listen here. In the UFC, it took them 1 fucking day to negotiate the 2 best welterweights in the world fighting each other. And the casual looks at boxing, says, Spence and Crawford, it's taken 6 fucking years to make. You know, it's no wonder you dudes are losing fucking fans. Put on some goddamn fights.
Are you saying boxers are overpaid?
By the way, before guys, keep talking, but I'm just gonna add T-Tones on the StreamYard, so I'm gonna add him to the conversation. All right. So I'll be back. I'll be back. You guys take over.
I see a 19-year-old kid getting paid $200.
Johnny boy, you a bitch. Shut the fuck up, Johnny boy. You don't know shit about boxing. You a stupid ass motherfucker coming at me in the comment section, bro. I thought we had squashed that beef, bro, and you came at me, but you a straight hoe for that shit, bro. A straight bitch,
you can
bro.
kick him off or you can keep
Shut
me
the
on.
fuck up. You ain't gonna do shit, bro. You a straight hoe, bro. That's all my life, bro. You a bitch.
No,
bro.
listen.
All right, I'm out. Fuck.
You behave or you're out.
Fucking cartoon character interrupt.
Fuck,
me.
man. I had to end this. Hold on. Hey,
because Johnny just
got
here.
Hold on. I gotta say something here. I had to cut this piss off midstream. I had to cut. You know how painful and uncomfortable that is to come here and say, El Jefe, you have done me wrong, man. Cutting me off.
Yeah, right. That's it.
There's only one thing worse. There's only one thing worse, and that is if you cut me off during sex. And now my microphone is cutting off. You're cutting off my microphone too. El Jefe, you're out of here, man. Fuck this shit. All right, sorry about that, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah,
keep going.
that's it.
Was that you piss in midstream? Was that maybe like diabetes or something like that, BD? Not that you or underlying condition.
Did you piss on your? I'm pretty sure Mr. BDA was taking a piss and then like he's like pissing pissing in his underwear. He's running to fucking.
Yeah, Mr. BA. He got caught in the zipper and shit. He's limping. It's
like RoboCop. If you watch that movie, you know what I'm talking about. We have corruption in boxing. Corruption. What's up?
It is what the BDA podcast has manifested into, Bucho.
Listen,
I don't know. It's turning into something.
Listen, I don't want to bring the shit to other people's channels. You started on D's, then you went to Mark's, now you come over here, bro. You're a pussy, and I'll break your fucking jaw, Hefe. flat out. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, we did it because the thing is, we thought it was T-Tone. So, well, Mr. BDA did.
I ain't tripping, Buso. I ain't tripping.
And then he left, take a fucking piss. But anyways, corruption. What's up? It's been a long time. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it's just nothing specific, Butcho.
All right.
I mean, I've had an exorcism recently, so I just really came back and said hello to you guys. I mean, boxing is as dead as Dillinger at the moment. So it is not really much.
Pretty. Well, you wanted to talk about the glove thing. I think you just wanted to say something about it.
Yeah.
Glovegate. Yeah.
I don't, King. I'm not even sure where. It's in a way it is futile to give an explanation to regarding I mean what exactly sort of transpired, but you know what it is ultimately, King. It is an inferiority complex. I've been sitting down and thinking about the whole all of these leeches which have surrounded themselves with Deontay Wilder for a number of years, and it came crystal clear to me. A friend of mine works at a radio station in London, and for the second Fury and Wilder fight, Wilder and he was invited to this radio station. Now, a friend of mine, he works on the security side, and what he told me. I mean, I was in the Netherlands then, so he phoned me and said, "Can you believe that Deontay Wilder's here today?" I'm like, okay. And he's like, he's arrived with over something like 35 people. Jesus. And there were individuals that were carrying his coat. Somebody was carrying his bag. Somebody was carrying his drinks. And that it really is a microcosm of his entire sort of career, which is a facade, and everybody pretty much knows that in some critical sort of boxing analysis. All of the people know that. Now, but the inferiority complex is now at a stage in which the audacity of all of those who are coming up with numerous waves of conspiracy theories to think that the sheer extent and lengths a fighter has to go through to defeat him, such is his supernatural status in that sense. Not only does individuals have to tamper their drinks, but they have to corrupt fluids, and now such a convoluted scheme of not only tampering the gloves, but inserting whatever foreign objects inside the glove when there's absolutely no evidence to the fore.
I think I said this morning, corruption. I said, I mean, I'm not telling you guys what to do or nothing, but I think we just need to quit fucking talking about the glove gate. It'll probably die. It'll probably die. I mean, look. Makes for good shows, guys. I know it does. But I think it'll kind of wither away if
I don't think it will. I don't think it's dependent on us.
So?
They have their own agenda. I don't even think they're listening to us, John.
I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, bro. At the very least, I want Wilder, Fury 3, and Loma and Tio at the end of the year. That's what I'm hoping for. Those two. So we can get the two best lightweights in the world in the ring together, and then we can finally kill off the Wilder shit for once and for all.
Look, Johnny, this is kind of like a duty that, it's not going away. They're biting down. So if there's nobody out there really like trying to clear it up when these guys are biting down, in the end, they'll have a lot of casuals believing that this actually is true. So it's like a civil duty to, like, maybe if it's about not necessarily about views or entertainment, but if they keep pushing the narrative, the fake news, you gotta have to expel that with speaking facts and truths. Because if you don't, casuals and people that don't follow boxing are actually gonna believe that this is true.
demographics of the audience I wanted to, to reach out to, because now, if we're talking about, gloves, what these casuals or whatever these leeches or those who are just disillusioned with this inferiority complex don't understand is that when in major championship fights, when gloves are procured, so each fighter will obviously indicate to the manufacturer on their specification of gloves. They're experienced professionals, so when the gloves arrive, that the gloves the gloves are not distributed directly to the fighter. They arrive at the commission, and the commission is under no obligation to open the gloves, nor are the fighters. So the gloves are opened in an open environment with both fighters there, and the commission official or the head of the commission present as well. So when the gloves are opened for the first time, which are obviously sealed, and if they're not sealed, the fighter can make an interjection and then and request new gloves to be immediately manufactured, and that's legally perfectly available. So if there are no issues that are reported, then the gloves are inspected. Both the fighter and the trainer, etc., will inspect the gloves. They'll choose the gloves. They'll agree to the gloves. That is obviously signed. The commission agrees it, and then those gloves are resealed to the day of the fight. The fighter cannot take those gloves home, nor can the fighter and his trainer arrive the next day with those gloves, or even fluids. Fluids and gloves are specifically under the auspices of the commission.
Yeah.
In the event of previous
true.
incidents where
that's 100% true. Corruption. That's 100% true. But then they'll mention. So what about Margarito's hand wraps, which has nothing to do with gloves, or they'll mention Louis Resto's gloves, which happened a long time ago. How did that happen?
Yeah. So anything's possible, basically.
But a lot of the regulations have changed further to the Louis Resto fights.
Father shouldn't be bitching, bro. I mean, I had some hand surgeries, and my fucking hand looks like when De Niro blew that dude's hand off on Taxi Driver, so he shouldn't be bitching. His hand's fine. Fuck his metal rods. He can't box worth the shit, and Fury's gonna slap the shit out of him again.
A lot of the regulations have changed. Corruption. That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Now for the padding to be removed. Say hypothetically there was a metal object inside the gloves. Now, given that the gloves enclose, the only way an object can be inserted is if it was actually binded to the hand, because of the breaking point of a metal object compared to sort of bone density. Now, if Tyson Fury was to hit an object, now given the sort of equal and opposite forces that actually come back, Tyson Fury's hand would actually have suffered immense damage if it was a loose object. But if the object was small, like small nuts, bolts, whatever, now given their surface area, they would have actually penetrated straight through his skin whatsoever. So
yeah, like a
for
projectile.
an object to be inserted, King, it's such a convoluted process. It couldn't be done within the time space, and it could only be done if it was a widespread conspiracy, if the commission and all of the officials and the promoters, etc., were really involved. So it really does defy belief that that these
I'll give you an example. Corruption. A lot of people think that when you put on brass knuckles, if you're just put on brass knuckles, you can just hit anything, and that's just the way it works. No, if you throw a punch full force, you'll break your hand with brass knuckles.
Absolutely.
You gotta just put the brass knuckles and take little short shots to be effective.
There would have to be a gap between knuckles and an object with a higher breaking point. But if that was the case, then it wouldn't even allow Fury to actually apply a punch of any significant force, because ultimately force is mass times acceleration. So when you're doing that, the object, if it wasn't bind it to his hand, it would be loose in the glove, and it could obtrude at an angle at which it would absolutely penetrate straight through his hand. So, Butcher, it's just a total load of nonsense. Now, given the time scale that is elapsed, and that Wilder's promoter is somebody who is legally qualified. If there was any veracity to any of these conspiracy theories, then a petition would have immediately been submitted to a court for whatever action, whether they want the result annulled, whether they want prosecution, because it's false that could result in a fatality. So the commission there would be 2 or 3 separate lawsuits or simultaneously, with the commission who have the health and safety responsibility to the fighter, as well as the promoter as well. So you're talking multiple lawsuits, King, and they would have to be filed immediately, because all of these YouTubes and all of these open source directories, the evidence is not admissible from them, because anybody can open an account, anybody can crop, edit, tamper videos, etc. They would have to obtain the original source information directly from who had the copyright control of the fight, being, Fox and ESPN, Walt Disney, etc. Only that footage would actually go to a court of law. None of this nonsense and all of these pictures which are coming from third-party sources where the information is not verifiable. So it's all a load of nonsense. And
but it's kind of like this corruption. It's like Deontay Wilder wants you to believe this is true, even though it's not, because he hasn't put out any statements trying to clear this up. He lets people continue and speaking this.
Yeah.
And look, his brother's even talking about it. If my brother were to mention something about me that I don't like, that would piss me off. I would text him immediately. Why are you doing that? Now, the whole world knows what Marcellus is saying, and if we know that it's not true, why doesn't he just say something about that? In other words, he's trying to be one of those guys that he wants to confuse the masses and have them to believe that it is true, but then not get the lawsuit like you're mentioning.
Yeah, what does Marcellus Wallace look like? Yo, who cares what that roided, cheating ass bum has to say?
Oh, wait a minute.
Wilder.
Some
I'm
people care.
I'm talking about Wilder's brother.
Oh,
Some
okay.
people care.
Hey, by the way, who's in the Google Hangout? Because I'm on the stream here. Because I'm trying to get at you. Who is this?
I don't know. Probably El Jefe again. I don't know.
No, I think it's El Dog.
Let him in.
Go ahead, Dog.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long time. Hey, first of all, you guys have been doing those real good film study videos. I really like the ones on Lomachenko.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
They're amazing. They're amazing.
Hold on, I got a question.
Real high production quality and good content.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, sorry, someone's trying to say something?
Well, Doug, I got a question for you, bro. Did you do your homework assignment and watch Godfather 2?
I'm almost finished it, man. I've almost finished it.
Wait a minute. You haven't seen Godfather 2? Please tell me you're fucking lying.
I'm telling you, I've been going through a list of movies that Johnny Boy sent me, man. Scarface, Godfather, Goodfellas, etc.
Never saw Scarface BDA before. He never saw Scarface, son.
Well, that's a little bit more forgivable, but come on, man. You got to get yourself that what was it called? Levi Gershwine? No, Levi Goldstein or whatever, the film critic. He's got that book there with 1,000 films you got to see. Get yourself that book. Watch one of those movies every week, and you'll be fine, all right? Stop watching Transformers and The Avengers and actually watch some cinema, all right, man?
You got to watch Blood In, Blood Out, L-Dog.
All right. Anyway, what I wanted to say was this whole Glovegate thing, all right? Now, I've been doing some looking into this, and in all honesty, I disagree with Johnny Boy. What we say, if we just off, it wouldn't do anything. These guys are so deluded, and I actually think some of them have some mental disabilities, because the things they're saying are just so ridiculous. For example, when Mauricio Suleiman came out and said, I was in both dressing rooms, they said, you know, first of all, that doesn't matter because no one was by Tyson Fury during the ring walk, and the sleeves of his outfit covered up his gloves. And I know sleight of hand magicians who can do tricks where they're tampering with things and you can't even see it. So these guys are accusing Tyson Fury of using like sleight of hand magic to tamper with his gloves during the ring walk. And you know, to make things worse, you see about 50 guys in the live stream saying, you know, hashtag facts, brother, and whatever when they're saying this kind of bullshit. Like, you know, 100 emoji, fire, whatever. A whole heap of bullshit, man. So, you know, I just can't believe this shit anymore, man.
Can I say something about that? First of all, when you said you know a magician, I gotta tell you, when I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm a magician," that to me is just like half a rapist. I don't know. Is that just me, guys, or like somebody that knows how to hypnotize people? Or do you think is this guy legit? This friend of yours?
Bro, I'm saying that someone said this. Like it was Boxing Ego.
No, I thought
he
you said
that he knows a magician, man, and that Tyson Fury could have been doing sleight of hand magic. Like, do these guys know how hard it is to actually get gloves off your hands? Like when you've got hand wraps on, they're tied up, they're you know taped up. Like, I don't know what's gonna come next, man.
It's basically what I can actually see is sort of new regulation in which certainly for major championship fighters are not going to be allowed to remove their gloves until they're back in controlled in with the rules, and the removal of the gloves is fully supervised by all parties in going possible.
You're breaking up there, corruption. You're breaking up, man.
Hey, BDA.
Yes.
I saw one true magician one time. His name was El Tauro de Brasil. He died. He was about 80 in Tijuana in the convention center. And the way that I know this guy was true, because he had my neighbor. He went to that event and I saw him on stage, hypnotized and dancing like a zombie asleep. That's why I believe that guy was true. Because how would my neighbor be up on the stage dancing and doing everything that this guy is telling him?
Maybe he was on. Maybe your friend was on meth or something. I don't know. But yeah,
he was
like
a good kid, just like a regular kid.
Oh, okay.
Good
well, then
grades in school.
That's different then, yeah. Yeah, listen, when you get, like El Dog is saying, this whole sleight of hand thing that they saw, they changed the glove and this and that. Look, some of these guys in the backstage, the commissioners, they're incompetent. Some of them. But to miss completely a guy fucking putting a horseshoe around his knuckles and they can't see it, come on, I can't buy that. This whole thing to me is more entertaining than it is conceivable. But I know Bucho loves to make fun of this, so we got it.
You want to know something ridiculous? When Suleiman said he was in the room, first what they said was, "Oh, he's not in the room because look, this 30-second clip came up where you couldn't even see the whole room," and they were all like, "Ha ha, facts." You know, I knew they were lying. You know, facts, 100, whatever. and I'm just thinking, like, first of all, you can't even see the whole room. Second of all, you know, he doesn't mean he was in there for every fucking second. Like, he was probably going back and forth. Like, you know, these guys are just stupid beyond belief.
Oh, okay, but the language is not necessary. I get what you're saying, but come on, the S word.
They were also yesterday. Brotherhood was making like connecting dots. Basically, he's like, where did Tyson Fury's 2 previous fight take place? I don't know, Las Vegas. There you have it. So they were like, Las Vegas was in it because he already fought in Las Vegas before Wilder. And so like he was trying to make a point out of this. I was like, it doesn't make sense. But there was, there was this other caller who was also like saying there was something weird with the gloves, who was immediately going like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Just because he fought in Las Vegas before it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you have Las Vegas in your pockets now.
No.
Hold on a second. Where was Wilder's previous fight? It was in fucking Vegas.
That's right.
Was it?
All the world championship
against
fights, the
Ortiz.
renowned fights. It's the hotbed for boxing. It's the Mecca.
Triple
The new
G
one.
Canelo. Triple G Canelo won.
Yeah, but since Vegas got vote, I was gonna say fucking voting, not voting, because this is election time. Since they got gambling, they want to say, oh, they want to connect the dots, like Butcher saying, oh, they got gambling, Vegas, wicked people, money.
But there's so many excuses. It's just ridiculous at this point. I mean, if they had one excuse and they stuck with that, but no, they're all over the place. Like every fucking
That's called the
Exactly.
argument.
What was it? Was his fist in the wrist portion of the glove? Was the glove loaded, or was the padding taken out? Like, which
Both.
one is it? It's
Now
all
BDA speaking horseshoes.
So he removed the
BDA just said
padding.
he had a horseshoe inside.
Well, first of all, you know my theory on all this is that there was something fishy going on, but it had nothing to do with the gloves. To me, it's completely outrageous that they're looking at the gloves and they're not looking at the real culprit behind Wilder's loss. Because I don't believe Wilder really could have lost against Fury, and I think if the fight's on the up and up, I think he actually beats Tyson Fury. But look into but hold on, look into the whole race war thing that's going on in the United States right now. Look into Derek Chauvin. Look into his ties to a certain organization that's into mind control. And then you're gonna start to see the big picture of how Wilder was compromised. But I'm telling you right now, it wasn't gloves. So they gotta let that go.
Hey, I gotta actually report some news. I did see a video from the Tyson Fury locker room. This is right before the start, so this should say something. All started. Tyson Fury standing there. He's got the gloves on. Motions to his dad, John Fury. He says, "John, the deck of cards." The deck of cards out. He hands a deck of cards to Maurice Suleiman. Says, "Maurice, you pick any card in there. Go ahead, pick one. Show me. Show everybody else in the room." Goes around. It's 7 of spades. It was. All right, put the card back in the deck. Now, hands it off. Pass around the room. Everybody gets a shuffle on the deck. All right, it's all shuffled up. Now hold it up. Hold it. Tyson Fury sets it up. Jab, cross jab, uppercut, knocks the fucking cards out of the hand. They fly all over the room, right?
Wait a minute. But how is he pulling the card?
Whoever was holding the cards, Maurice Suleiman was holding the cards. Tyson Fury knocks them all in the air. They're flying. Everyone's like, oh, now undo these gloves. Undid the gloves. In the palm of Tyson Fury's hand. The 7 of spades.
Am I the
Wait
only
a
one
minute.
who?
He's joking.
Was I supposed to laugh at some point in that?
Nobody knows what the
My question is how he pulling the cards? How's he pulling the cards out of the deck if he got the gloves on?
That's what it is. That's what it is, Gonzalo.
I
He's
think
showing
I
that
get
he
it.
could bring something in and out between the gloves. Sleight of hand. You were talking about the sleight of hand, right, L-Dog?
Yeah.
This is the trick. This was the trick. So this is proof.
Ah.
You can
All
have
right.
the gloves on,
well,
go into the
hey,
ring, and then slip
Well, that's a
something
bit
right in
long.
there.
That was a bit long, yeah. By the way, real quick. Let me see because I got somebody. I got somebody waiting here. Hey, Mike from Boston. I think you've called in before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing about this whole glove thing to kind of put it in perspective. Now,
Go ahead.
I'm actually I like Deontay Wilder as a fighter. Inside the ring, I've always been a fan of Wilder, so I was rooting for him in that fight, and I wanted him to win. I don't like Tyson Fury. Okay, so when this glove thing came out afterwards, the first thing I did was I watched the fight again, and I put it at quarter speed. So I basically watched it in slow motion, so at 0.25 speed. And I saw through watching that fight that there just wasn't anything wrong with the glove, and that Deontay Wilder lost and got his ass beat, and that's what happened, and that was it. And then I moved on because it's just boxing, and I'm not tied to Deontay Wilder as a fucking mentor. You know, I don't. He's not my fucking leader. Like, if he loses,
But he's my king.
Kangs.
So, I mean, I just.
That's my king.
Hold on. But what he's trying to say, the point he's trying to make is that for him, this is a sport, and he's not completely in love with Deontay Wilder. Now, you say you're a Mike. You say you're a Mike. Your microphone. It's crackling a lot, man. What's going on here? What? Who's gonna say something?
Somebody's eating Cheerios in the background.
Yeah, no, Mike, check your mic because it's crackling a lot. It's like you're moving. I think you're moving around. Are you shifting around? Oh, okay, he's gone. By the way, shout out to John Gonzalez real quick, who just donated for the super chat. He says, unplug La Revolucion for that bomb. Hey, listen, it can't be all home runs in here, man. Come on.
Who was that caller just saying with the crackling? What was his name? Microphone?
Mike from... Oh. Okay, come on. Okay.
Just when I'm on the ropes and you think the ref is gonna call it, I unload a couple bombs real quick.
Yeah, that was some real napalm you unloaded on us. A shout out to John Gonzalez also, by the way, for his contribution. He says unplug La Revolucion for the bomb. But anyway, listen. Okay, let's see if Mike from Boston's back. Mikey, are you okay?
Yeah, is my mic sound any better?
You it's crackling a lot. Are you on the move right now?
No, I'm parked in my car. Is it still crackling?
Yeah, man. I think it's the cable.
All right, I'm gonna fix it. I'll come back.
All right, fantastic, man. But listen, he made a good point about how he's not in. He wanted to find something. He didn't find something wrong with Tyson Fury's gloves, and he moved on. Isn't that the healthy human thing to do?
What's this caller's name? Mike?
Okay, please don't make me set you up for another fucking joke, man.
What's his name? Mike Ablesbroke?
It was kind of like a perfect storm because boxing died exactly after that fight, at least the big fights. Then we went into the recession with the coronavirus, no boxing.
That's true.
And so you had something to talk about, and that was it.
That's true. Eh? It was the last big fight before they decided to shut down the whole thing based on a virus. But look, at the end of the day, what else? Do you anybody else has something to say about this fight or about the gloves?
Campos, in the chat, Campos Vasquez is saying we need Glovegate 3.0, which is coming.
That's what you said, right? That you said they're never going to stop coming up with something.
No, it's like the coronavirus. So it's just going to keep on coming back.
Exactly.
I think that's what got happens now.
Talking the glove game, we're being serious. Let's be serious. What was the 1.0 and what was the 2.0? Like, what the official...
Well, there's no official, but in my opinion, 1.0 was the floppy glove, floppy gate, as I call it. Remember when the glove was floppy, whatever. And 2.0 is basically Tyson Fury removed some of the padding from the glove or gloves. And 3.0
or 3.0. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
The metal object.
Yeah, that's too. I guess that's 1.2.
Yeah, BDA said he had a horseshoe in his glove now.
Patch.
No, I said
exactly to patch. It's
they're
not
saying.
yeah.
What I said is that they're saying that it might as well have been a horseshoe. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to be playing 4D chess here, which is what I always do, I'm telling you, there was some look into mind control. Look into who Derek Chauvin was hanging out with before he moved on to Minnesota. Look at how what's going on here with black people in society. I'm telling you, there's something going on with mind control, and I think that's what they used to make Deontay Wilder lose. I can't see on any other way that he could have lost. Objects in the hand. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. He couldn't have lost. There must have been some cheating involved.
Mind control. I'm telling you. Look into it. Just look into it.
How come Tyson Fury turned into Ivan Drago all of a sudden? Right? Because this guy was like Paulo Malignaggi. He had zero power. All of a sudden, he manages to to stop our king. I don't think so.
Did you just call him Paulo Malignaggi?
Something's fishy. Yeah.
You call him Paula Malignaggi.
Paulina. Hey, by the way, you guys remember that Tyson Fury Chisora, the second fight? Chisora's face was all busted up, man. The guy can punch. Trust me.
And he did it pretty much all south. So he was using his left hand as the power hand. up against somebody with a cast iron chin to inflict that much damage. It shows he's got power in both hands.
Yeah, especially if you look, you got 60% KO ratio. I mean, with Muhammad Ali had 50% by the time it was all said and done. I mean, this guy's facing good fighters, maybe not elite all the time, but he's getting the knockouts.
Okay, what? Who's moving around with their microphone? Putting them in the armpit or something. What's going on here? All right.
That was me, BDA. Sorry about that.
You gotta watch it now. It's been a long time you've been on the show. You know how it works. What else was I gonna say here? Well, listen. I mean, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder wants to jump back in there, and Dylan White says he's not gonna step aside after if whoever wins the Wilder Fury third fight. He says he's not gonna step aside to let Fury fight Joshua, or Wilder if he wins, let him fight. He says he wants to fight. He wants to apply his mandatory position. So we could be seeing Dylan White versus Tyson Fury in there.
Yeah, yeah. That man is.
All right, listen. We're having some issues here with the connection for some reason. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Everybody.
I can, but it sounds kind of weird sometimes, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, something's going on. Listen, I think we're going to cut it short because, I mean, once we start talking about the gloves again, we can go all night with that. We can go all night. Listen, guys, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Want to give a shout out to everybody that dropped into the Discord. I'm talking about La Evolucion. Johnny Boy was here as well. Oh, he's still here, by the way.
I'm still here.
Gonzalo.
Bro.
Corruption in Boxing. Who did I forget? Did I forget somebody? Well, I mean, Butcher was here as well. Didn't forget anybody. Come on. And everybody who called in on StreamYard, everybody who tried to call in on the Blog Talk. I don't know what's going on with the connection, but you can see it had something to do with the connection, some sort of problems. It's out. Look at that. It's happening again. So we're going to have to end this. But thank you guys for joining us. Gonzalo, Corruption, anything else you want to say before we go? See, they can hear me. Closing thoughts.
This is like a Jerry Springer. What was it with Jerry Springer?
Word.
That was it like
the final word. The final word. And now
was
for
the
my
final word. No, it was
final thought.
Something about thoughts. Like
final.
It was
thought.
deep. Maybe it was final thought. Anyways,
listen, we're gonna end it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Vasil Lomachenko videos we've been doing. Check out the Bucho's Glovegate videos if you're interested in that. They're real fun, and he breaks it down. So thank you guys for joining us. Catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Have a good one, guys.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.